So I did a bunch of questions, like the little question box on Instagram, because people ask me a lot of questions. So I just did that, got a bunch of questions to answer in a video. I try to answer as much as I can to people, and I get a lot of the same questions, so I'm just going to do a video and answer everybody's questions. If you have questions that I didn't answer in this, comment them below. I'll do another Q&A or whatever you guys want to see. But this was a really requested video. I know everyone does Q&As, and it's a little bit easier to just say everything as an answer because I tend to go on tangents, and so I'm just going to start reading all my Q&As right from Instagram that people wrote in. And I haven't read most of them yet. I just scanned through, so I don't really know what to expect. But there's some pretty good questions. So the first one is, what's your favorite tricep workout? I used to be big on doing arms and stuff, and now that I kind of have to put my workouts around what I need to improve for the stage is a little different. I don't really do triceps as much anymore. Luckily, I guess that's like I'm more gifted in triceps where I don't have to work as hard to keep the size of them. But I do love training arms, and I love anything overhead for triceps. So my favorite thing is usually the rope overhead or an easy curl bar laying down. That's just my favorite because you get the full stretch and you really feel it in your entire tricep. And of course, like supersets for arms. I love supersetting for arms and like shoulders to get like the best pump. When's your next show? 2019, definitely. Hopefully before summertime is my goal. So spring, late spring. I'd like to do it before summer. I don't know how many shows I plan on doing. I don't know which ones exactly yet. I'm just figuring that out now with my coach, but I've been following all his stuff to the T, so we are ready whenever we feel like going into it. You should do the Pittsburgh Pro next spring. I'm planning to compete there as an amateur. I would love to do the Pitt Pro. I love any of the pro ones. Tampa, New York, Pitt, Toronto. Like, I think those are probably the best shows, like the hardest, most competitive, and just the best ran probably. I don't really know. I've never competed in a pro show yet, but I wouldn't be opposed to the Pitt Pro. What are your tips for growing delts and shoulders? To grow anything, you need your nutrition on point, you need your workouts on point, and you need to be patient and consistent. So if you put all those together, no matter what you want to improve, you'll improve. Workout wise, I like doing extra side raises. Always. That's how I got my delts how they are now. I always did lots of side raises because I remember before my first show, someone who was like my friend told me like, you will never do good because you have really bad shoulders and like you can't do good in figure without shoulders. Well, here I am. So as long as you put your mind to it and work towards it, you can improve whatever part you want, even if you're not genetically like gifted in that part, you can always improve it. Not everyone has the best structure or muscle bellies, but you can overcome it if you do what you're supposed to. Aside from the nutrition to help them grow, you're gonna need a caloric surplus to make any muscles grow, but you want to, what I like to do is flooding the muscle with blood. So I like doing a heavy workout, like a heavy press or a heavy side raise, and then going into drop sets or lots of reps after I do my normal like workout. I'll do extra, like a few sets of 20 to 30 of side raises and presses and lots of supersets, just totally killing the muscle. And delts are smaller and you have the 3 smaller muscles, so you don't really need lots of heavy weight. You don't want to be doing side raises with 50 pounds because you're just going to be using your traps. So you really have to learn to connect with that certain muscle and then really giving your all and putting it to use. And then with time, they will grow and it will come. And of course, you look better when you're lean. Your muscles have more shape when you're lean. So you can't tell if I have big delts now, but once I get ready for a show, they pop more and stuff like that. So it's all like, you never know what you have under there until you cut down, kinda. So just keep working hard. Why you got started? Well, I never really had a life goal of being a bodybuilder. It was never a plan for me. I just was really into fitness. I was a varsity soccer player. I played soccer my whole life, dance, gymnastics. I was always in sports. I want to say, like, everyone's like, oh, I'm a competitive person. I don't want to say I'm a competitive person. I've never been the best at anything. I just enjoy the feeling and the high I get from fitness and stuff like that. So once I stopped playing soccer my senior year because me and my coach didn't get along, and I have more pride than to let someone be the boss of me. So I quit my soccer team my senior year, which was really depressing. I didn't get to, like, that was my all-star year. So I just started going to the gym a lot, and I just got hooked on it. I would go twice a day before I even thought about competing or knew what it was. So when I started doing that, my dad helped me. He gave me workouts, because my dad was a bodybuilder in the 70s, and he kind of would give me workouts because I didn't really know what to do. I did lots of running, lots of HIIT stuff, normal fitness things that someone would start out with. So he started giving me arm workouts and then leg workouts, shoulder workouts. So I had kind of a bodybuilder split and just kind of got into it and loved it. And once I wanted to, people would always ask me, like, do you compete? You should compete. And I kind of put it in my head, but I don't want to say I'm shy, but I'm very, what's the word? Like, I'm very to myself. So going on stage was never something that's the last thing I wanted to do. I wanted to look like the people on stage, but I didn't want to go on stage. So, eventually I got the balls to do it. I hired a coach because I liked how his competitors looked and the girls looked. They became my inspiration, and ever since I did my first prep and I competed, I fell in love, and I've been going at it ever since. This is actually the longest off-season, or only off-season I've ever had. So, needless to say, I cannot wait to compete again. It's totally changed my life. It's who I am now. I don't even know what I was like before it. But the weirdest things you get started and you just get hooked, kind of. What do you want to achieve for 2019? My main goal is to compete. It makes me so sad that I haven't competed in so long. I don't really know what to expect. I feel like I've never prepped before. So I just can't wait to reach my goal of getting to the stage. And that conditioning, I want crazy conditioning. Obviously, my biggest goal in fitness is to get glute striations. Like, I would love that. But it all depends. The criteria for figure, it always changes. So besides that, I just really want to do well at my debut, and this year to be completely fun with fitness and do everything I want to with it. How tall are you? 5'3.5". On stage, I look really tall in my stage shots, but I feel like when you're leaner, you look taller because you're, like, skinnier. Because once I, like, put water back on after a show, I think I look stumpy. I'm actually pretty tiny, and my quads don't help. I wish I was taller. Top 3 favorite condiments in prep. Okay, I want to just say anything prep. I'm not like ketchup, mustard stuff. Like, anything in prep I like using. Cinnamon, because you can season. You can, like, flavor anything with it. Oatmeal, cream of rice, cucumbers for your sweet cravings. Basically anything like that. It makes anything sweet, so that's a staple. Hot sauce. Normally Frank's is like a go-to because they don't have calories. You want to go for something that doesn't have calories. Sodium, I don't track in prep unless I'm in, like, a peak week. So a hot sauce, cinnamon, and Mio, because it helps me drink my water. I'm not a water drinker. I never was. I can go days without drinking water. So even just getting a gallon a day is really tough for me. So Mio is what I drink throughout the day. And then once I'm at the gym and doing cardio, I just have plain water. If you go back to my prep hack video, I have so many things that help make prep so much easier. So check that out if you want more little tips. We have would you rathers from some of my friends. So, would you rather go on a date with Jason Genova weekly forever or have a slow metabolism? I'm sure half of you know who that is and half of you don't. Needless to say, I already have a slow metabolism, so I don't really have to choose. I'm screwed either way. What's it like being a cosmetologist while in prep and being on your feet all day? Same career. So this girl does what I do. I'm a cosmetologist, hair, skin, nails, makeup. Basically now all I do is eyelash extensions, microblading, which is eyebrow tattooing, and makeup. So when I am doing makeup and weddings, I'm on my feet still, but now since I kind of changed from hair to more face stuff, I'm sitting all day, which honestly is just as bad as standing all day. So when I did have to stand all day, you want really comfy shoes. If you're working at a station, you want one of those squishy mats. Asics and New Balances are the best shoes. I have lots of feet and knee problems, so anytime I do cardio or something like that, I have special shoes that my doctor makes me wear. So I know they might be ugly, but it's worth it if you're on your feet all day. And for me, sitting all day gives me lots of trap, neck, hand issues, my grip and stuff, because I'm bent over someone. So no matter what you do, there's always going to be a downfall. You just kind of have to push through it. And to me, you just get used to it. So did you already book the tickets for FIBO this year? I've never been to FIBO. I think that's overseas. No, I'm not going. I'm not booking tickets. I've never been overseas. I don't have a passport. If Run Everything Lab ever goes and they want to bring me, then I'll be there and I'll let you know. What was your first prep like? Wow, okay. So, my first prep, I was 19, and I didn't even live at home at the time. After high school, I went to cosmetology, graduated, I went to a makeup school that was a few hours up north from me, so I lived with my aunt. And around this time is when I really was into fitness. I didn't go out, I wasn't drinking. I was 19, whatever. I was just really focused on the gym. I went to school and I went to the gym and then I went to sleep, just like I do now, which was odd for a 19-year-old. And I actually told myself, when I'm done with makeup school, I'm gonna prep with this coach. So while I was living with my aunt, I emailed him and I actually started prepping with him. He is Christian Coronado. He has a food company that I work with now, Coronado's Clean Cuisine. He coached me for my first show. I messaged him and he got me started like the last 2 weeks I was living up north. And I was just so excited, and I love routine and stuff like that, that it was almost, I don't want to say it was easy, but compared to preps now and stuff, it's easy because I didn't have expectations. I didn't really know what I was supposed to look like. So if at 8 weeks out, I didn't say like, well, I look better last 8 weeks out. I didn't really know. So it was almost less stressful and more fun. But I enjoy prep more now because I know what's to come. I know, like, I look way better than I used to, so I like it more now and it's more exciting now. But in the beginning, my first prep was almost easy because I was already very disciplined. I have a very disciplined attitude. If I want something, I'm going to do it. So it wasn't like I missed food or anything. My first prep, it wasn't like that. I just was so gung-ho about it and excited. And then after my first show, I loved it. I didn't even stop. I just kept going and did a few more. So, that's like one good thing about starting a prep is you kind of have no expectations. I didn't know much about the industry. I didn't really know anything. I figured it out on my own. I ordered my suit on my own. I found registration on my own. If you have someone that knows already, it's probably a big help to have someone help you, but it's possible to do it on your own, but I always recommend a coach at least. What keeps you motivated and what got you started? Alright, so I said what got me started. I was just very fit and my body goals changed, and as they changed, I had to do more. I had to do more cardio. I had to do more lifting. I had to change my lifestyle to change how I wanted to look. So that's basically why I got started, because I wanted to look a certain way. But what keeps me motivated? It's hard for me to answer this because I don't want to say I don't need motivation, but it's, I mean, I guess if you're like me, you would understand it, that like, it's just that if I have a goal, I'm going to do it. If I say I'm going to do something, I'm going to do it. So I guess if you want to get deep, it's like a fear of, I don't want to let anyone down. So once I say I do a show, I do a show. I don't talk here and there and do it. So I kind of follow what I say and stick to it, and that's what keeps me motivated more than my love for it. Even though my love for competing, and I just love the transformation and the process so much that keeps me motivated. But of course, when I say I'm going to do something, I'm going to do it. So I like to prove myself right and achieve what I want to achieve. There's no better feeling than that, honestly. You think it be like that sometimes or not? It really be like that sometimes. Just saying. Do you think someone can do well in the IFBB without a coach? I feel very strongly about coaches. I don't think you can do well locally without a coach. I would never put my diet and coaching in my own hands. For the main reason is when you really, if you're dieting right and you get close to a show and you're that depleted, you have carb brain. You're not functioning properly. You don't see yourself how other people see you. So you're going to think, you could be on point and you think you need to lose 5 more pounds and you're just going to ruin it. So you always kind of need a second eye. Or you think you deserve a refeed, but you really don't and you're just hungry. So you kind of need someone to guide you and be your second eye. So at least have someone help you as a second eye, or hire a coach. I know plenty of people that have gone even to nationals on their own, but I wouldn't recommend it. I think that's extra stress, and what stress does on your body is just like, you can't reverse it. So it's always better to have someone with you. Will you be competing this year? Yes. If I don't, you'll be at my funeral because I'll kill myself. How many competitions have you been to? I don't know if that means myself competing, but I'm going to take it as that. I have done 8 total. I did, when I was 19, I did 2. I turned 20 in between. So I did Muscle Beach, my first show ever. I was 19. Gold's Classic 2 months after. Then I took about 2 months off season. Basically, I took 2 months to binge eat and drink and party. And then I was over it and I wanted to compete again. So that's when I knew I really had an addiction to it and I really was going to keep doing this, was after that. Like, that's all I wanted to do was get back to competing. So then that would be 2016. I did South Jersey Championships and then Garden State, which I won my first class win at Garden States. And then after that, I switched over to my current coach, Kyle Wilkes, and he took the lead from there. I got a little, like I reversed a little bit, but I still got a little sloppy after. This is the first year I really reversed and stuck to it, and it is very important, and I do recommend it. But after that, I worked with him for about 6 months before starting a prep, and then we started my 2017 prep, where I did Kemper, and then the Steve Stone Mets. I won my first, no, it wasn't my first class win. My second class win, my first, a big show, I won. My class for, and that was kind of the green light for me to do nationals. He told me if I don't win it, I'm not doing a nationals, we're done. So I worked my butt off, I won that, and then I went to Junior USA's in South Carolina. I got 2nd place, so I was like so close to battling the overall for a pro card. So I couldn't stop there. We went on to Universe. So this is 12 weeks from Mets was Universe. So I did 6 until my first national show. I love national shows. And then another 6 weeks until Universe, where I won my class and I won my pro card. So total so far is 8. And I want to do 1 million more. Fave makeup product you use daily. If anybody knows anything about me, I mean, my other page is linked in my Instagram bio. and I already stated that I'm in the beauty industry. I'm not a full-time bodybuilder or fitness person. I have a real job. So a lot of girls ask me for makeup stuff. My number one thing that I think everybody needs is eyelash extensions. They are the greatest thing on earth. You go to cardio, you look good. But besides, obviously if you're not going to invest in them or you don't want eyelash extensions, my favorite product, I don't use much daily, but if I'm getting ready and going out, I love highlighter. So besides eyelashes, I love some highlighter. My favorite one is from Anastasia Beverly Hills, the Amrezy highlighter. So that's really good. This is a third question of, are you single or do you have a man? That I've passed, so I'm going to answer now, I am single. Yeah. What kind of shoes do you recommend for squats? P.S. You're amazing. Thank you. And any flat shoe. I wear rider wears personally. I used to wear no shoes with the socks you see people in the gym do all the time. Or even wrestling shoes, boxer shoes. Those are flat. Converse are flat. You see a lot of people wearing those in the gym to squat. So anything you kind of want flat, you don't want weak support around your ankles. I'll show you my rider wears though. So these are rider wears. They have like the Atomics or something is like the same brand. I like rider wears. I'm all for them. They're cuter. So these are just some pairs I have. They're flat and they're soft on the bottom. And they have a little bit of the ankle support. I would wear these every day if I wanted to, if I like them with my outfit. But I do wear them specifically on leg and back days for that reason. Deadlifts, squatting, heavy barbell rows. You just want your feet flat. So I recommend these. I like the whole brand of rider wear, to be honest. Would you ever do women's physique? Funny you should ask. Women's physique is my favorite. I love figure. I've fallen in love with figure. I want to stay in figure. But when I really got into bodybuilding, women's physique was my goal. Because I do like the bodies of them. And recently I do love how peeled they get. I love the glute striations. I love the nastiness. But most importantly, I love the posing. And I would stay in figure if we could do routines. I would love to do that. I love having bodybuilder friends because I can help them with their routines. I really just love the art of it. I just really love the sport, and that I think is the most impressive is when you get to show your body and express that. So, I mean, if I can get big enough to move up and like fit in, I would definitely do it just to do a routine. I don't want to win anything, you know? I don't compete to win. I just love doing it. And I already have had a routine in my head for like 3 years. Favorite cheat meal? Pizza. I love pizza. I don't like a lot of things. I don't like sushi, burgers, fries. I love fries. I don't like sushis, burgers, red meat and stuff, seafood. But fries, wings, and pizza, or any Italian food, I love. How long do you normally prep for? Me being naturally a thicker person, I can gain muscle a little bit easier than some people, but it's very hard for me to get lean. It's hard for anybody to get to the level of leanness to compete, but for me, just in general, losing weight is really hard. I'm just not built that way. So normally, I'm comfortable with like a 25-week prep. Last 2017 ended up being near 30 weeks because I went longer than I planned to, but most people prep for 12 or 16 weeks. I would recommend at least 16, no cheat meals, nothing like that. So me, I would say like 20, 25, just for comfort. But if I got to live in a perfect world and I could do a 10-week prep, I would. When does prep start getting hard for you? Specifically, from my last prep, 8 weeks. I just remember hitting 8 weeks out, and it wasn't even 8 weeks from Universe. It was 8 weeks from my first show, and I wasn't even crazy. Like, I was lean, but I wasn't anything spectacular yet. But everything hurt me, and I just, like, hit a wall, I remember. Because I was doing a ton of cardio. My diet was very depleted. I'm in a much better spot now since I followed my off-season. So I really, near 8 weeks last time, I really didn't think I was gonna make it. I had prep brain way early, and I was just in a lot of pain, like depleted pain. My legs were throbbing, and I was just remember laying on the couch like, I can't do this. But once you kind of, I don't know if it gets better or you get used to it. I think I just get used to it, which is fine. How long did it take you to get your body how you wanted it? P.S. You are my inspiration. Thank you. And years and years. I'm still have things I want to change and work on. That's kind of what the whole sport is about. Even if I didn't compete, there's always something more I want or I like. I really love myself. Very close to a show, which is not the best. But I've lifted for probably like weight trained for about 2 or 3 years before I competed. And then I've been competing for about 3 years since I'm going on my 4th year with a year off. So I'm over 5 years of strictly bodybuilding to get to where I am now at least. Best time to go to Warehouse Gym. Anytime if you're just going to train. It's big enough to where it's never going to be too packed. They have the basement. They have the best machines like you've never seen before. But if you want to see Dana and Rob, they do events there. I would go during an event. They're really fun. Or when they do Sunday at 6s, which is normally when I would go just to see them and say what's up. So, how to not listen to people saying that you need to stop bodybuilding in competitions. I've never had someone come tell me like, stop doing it, like you shouldn't do it, you're not good enough, or it's stupid. I never had any negativity towards it, mainly because I think that's what people see me as now. Like, in my hometown, if I see kids from high school, they're like, oh, the bodybuilder. You know, like, they only talk to me about fitness, which, yeah, it gets annoying, but, I mean, it is my life. But I have had people where they've came across my pictures and they're like, why do you do that? Why do you want to look like that? I encountered someone not long ago where like, oh, I saw you like for a show, but it was just like too much. And I was like, okay, well, I love it and I love how I look like that. So, you know, if you really love it, nothing matters. Luckily, my parents are very supportive. My whole family really is supportive. The group of friends I have are basically all in the industry by now. And the ones that aren't were with me as I transitioned through it, so they kind of know, like, that's me now. So everybody's really supportive of, if someone isn't, I mean, they're not doing anything for you. They're not going to the gym every day, doing 2 hours of cardio. They're not getting every meal in and doing this prep or whatever it is that you want to do. So screw them, like, they're not helping you. This is, as much as like it helps to have a support system and people around you, it's a solo sport. So I don't let it bother me, and it shouldn't bother you. If you're doing what you actually enjoy, nothing else matters. What pliers do you recommend to help leaning your legs out when preparing for figure? So pliers are good for anything. It's just kind of like a HIIT workout. It'll get your heart rate up. I do plyos before my fasted cardio. In the morning, I'll do jump squats with bands. Like, I make it harder. I'll do, like, lunges, sidewalks, little circuits. So anything like that, obviously, is good. But that's not what you should depend on to get lean legs. The biggest thing I learned getting my legs lean was time. If you look back to my 2017 competition history, the first show I did, I had faint lines on my legs, and they were still very big. The next show, I really brought them down a lot, but they weren't peeled. Then by the time I got to Junior USA, I was very lean. My legs were lean, and then by Universe, they were hard, peeled, and I loved it. But it just takes time. It takes a lot of cardio, a really caloric deficit, because for girls, we hold our weight there, and our lower stomachs and our legs, so that's the last thing to go. So once everything else is lean, you're not really done. And water does a lot. So once you pull your water in peak week, your legs are going to look totally different than they do in the beginning of the week. So just time, and you want to have the muscle mass. If you don't have the muscle mass there, you're never going to get lean there because your muscles aren't developed. So you want to have good development and a really good coach to help you have the diet and the cardio to get there, and then just be patient and consistent. When you start training. like I said, over 5 years ago, I was probably like 15 when I really started getting into the gym. I'm 23 now. Show some squats. I will do another leg day video. I might split it up and do just quad movements for people because they always want me to show quad movements since I have bigger legs. And I can like separate that. So maybe I'll do a video of different kinds of squats and my favorite kinds. On a scale of 1 to Ben Pakulski, how big do you want your calves? Great question. I want them as big as they can be. I don't care. I'll take Ben's calves. I'll take your calves. I just want big calves. I don't really work on them though, so I probably should. Can we please get married? No. When was the last time you did something for the first time? That's one of those weird questions. I don't know. I'll think about it. How old are you? 23. My birthday is September 20th. 1995. How to grow your legs. Just like I said before with your delts, all that applies, plus you want to do specific movements for your quads and your hams, and a lot of compound movements. You want to squat a lot, heavy. Definitely work heavy, but learn how to connect to your muscles so you're using your quads if they need to grow instead of your hamstrings and glutes. So my muscle connection is everything. If you can master that and then get good form with heavy weights, you'll grow. No question. Are you going to the Arnold? Yes, I go to the Arnold every year. I usually stop by the Run Everything booth and hang with them for a little bit, but for the most part I just roam and go to have fun myself. Do you like prep or off-season better? I actually am enjoying this off-season, which I never have liked or was okay with how I looked before prepping or being in prep. So I'm enjoying it now and the past few months, but I always like prep better. I just like the strictness and the results and just everything about it. I don't mind missing things or not going out for prep or anything like that. I'm used to it by now. What kind of cardio do you do in off-season versus prep? Everything's the same in off-season and prep. The only difference is I'm not eating different types of food or doing different types of cardio. I'm doing the same thing as I would in prep, but it's off-season, so I'm doing less of it. I'm not doing an hour on the Stairmaster. I'm doing 15 minutes or 20 minutes, less days a week. My food is going to be, I'm still going to be eating chicken, egg whites, and rice, just more amounts. I'm going to get more rice because I have more carbs. So anything, there's no like special thing that you do in prep that's different, or you do in off-season that's different. It's the exact same thing. Of course, if you're one of the people that eat whatever they want and want to eat whatever they want because it's bulking, then there's a big difference. What's one thing you wish you knew before you competed? I didn't really know anything about this life before I competed. Nothing. I mean, I wish I knew how expensive it was. Like, the sport is a very expensive sport. You do it all on your own. It's not like everything gets done for you, especially in the women's with the suits and everything. Like, things are expensive, but that's not an issue with me. It's some people wish they knew how mentally messed up it'll make you, because you get to this peak physique that's literally impossible to keep unless you want to die, and not seeing yourself like that is like the worst feeling, because if you love yourself in this one state that's not healthy or possible to maintain, you're gonna hate the rest of your time living, which is how I was. I love myself like 2 weeks out. It was my favorite look. And once I'm not like that, I get annoyed at things and I don't like it. And it takes me a long time to adjust my mindset to this body versus that body. But that's something I wish I knew so I could prepare ahead of time and not being so, like, off balance when I went through that, I guess. That's all the questions I'm going to answer. Now, if you have more questions, comment them below, DM me, whatever you want to ask. I hope that answered whoever asked them and you learned a bunch about me, actually. So I will see you in the next video, and it'll probably be a workout.